I'm JP Karliak, and I voice N Tropy in Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. The Boss Baby in The Boss Baby Back in Business, only on Netflix. While E. Coyote, super genius in the new Looney Tunes. The Tin Man in Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. And Kozo Fuyutsuki in the Netflix dub of Neon Genesis Evangelion. And those are just a few roles I've played during my career. Glad to be here. You're currently watching In Conversation with Amber the Fangirl. That's ATF to you, but Amber to me. Curse you, bandicoots! Enjoy.
Hi guys, Amber here, and welcome back to another episode of In Conversation with Amber the Fangirl. Today, my guest has been in lots of TV shows, cartoons, video games, animes, and more. You may know him as the voice of N Tropy in Crash 4, It's About Time. The voice of the Boss Baby in Boss Baby Back in Business. The voice of the Tin Man in Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, that's the recent animated series, and also Willy Wonka in Tom and Jerry, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yes, my guest is none other than JP Karliak. Welcome.
Woo!
And this is actually our second take because we tried one before, but I forgot to press record. So we're about to do it.
It's clearly a Mercury retrograde day. Nothing's working.
Oh yeah, I've had
gonna make it work
all day. I mean, obviously, I originally was late for the interview. Then my DVD player wouldn't work, and then I thought my sound had broken on my computer. So I've really just been having an on-off day since I got back home from my friends. But yeah, hopefully everything will work out now. And yeah,
we're here to have a good time. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I love the enthusiasm. So, also, I love your hair, by the way. It's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Love it. My hair is
love your streaks as well.
Thank you. It was full blue a few months ago, but obviously it's washed out because these are the parts of my hair that are only bleached.
Mm-hmm.
I usually have a full head of blue hair, but not this time. I'm probably topping it up soon. But anyways, thank you so much for letting me talk to you. It's been
sure.
Amazing. I can I just say I love your voices. I love your Entropy voice. Can you just do a bit of Entropy, please?
Well, I mean, if you ask nicely, I suppose.
Please. Oh man, I love it. I mean, I've completed Crash 4 now. Such an amazing game. Love the voice acting. Love the levels. Best Crash game. Best designs ever.
Sweet.
So JP.
Yeah.
How did you get started in voiceover?
So, I mean, I think that there's basically two types of voice actors in my experience. There's the ones who have been dying to do this since they were kids, and then there's the ones that kind of fell into it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the second one in that, I mean, I loved cartoons as a kid and, watched Looney Tunes, watched cartoons constantly. But for some reason I was under the impression that, like, you needed to be famous to do any cartoons, like whether it was on TV or movies or anything. Unless you were famous as an on-camera actor, you could not do voiceover. So I kind of put it on the back burner, thinking like, well, let me just get into on-camera acting and see what happens. So I did that. But then when I was in college, I had friends who were studying animation and they were doing student projects and they needed voices for their animations, and they were doing a Batman and Joker scene, and they're like, "Oh, can you do my Joker? Because I know you do funny voices." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, sure." And his teacher really loved it. The students really liked it. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well that's something." And I was just doing little things here and there for free, just helping people out, and it was getting really good responses. So I finally went to one of my professors was Kelly Ward, who taught musical theater because he was in the original Grease movie, but he also is a big director of a lot of different animations. He's done a lot of DC stuff. He's done a ton of things. He did Star versus the Forces of Evil, which I was on. So I talked to him, and he was like, you need to study with Bob Bergen, Bob Bergen being the voice of Porky Pig. I took his class. He became my mentor, helped me get an agent. I recorded a demo, and that's sort of it.
That's lovely, that. As I said before, like, it's sort of passing down the torch to probably people who would be the future voices of our cartoons. Like, Bob was, correct me, Bob, if you're watching this, were you mentored by Dawes Butler, or was it? Was it Mel Blanc? I can't remember. I do apologise. But I know Bob did.
The infamous phone call with Mel, but
yes.
Dawes was his mentor for sure. Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Bob went to see June Frey and Bill Scott perform at a CIFA event in the 80s, live, Rocky Bullwinkle script. Bob obviously went to see them, 14-year-old Bob. Bob is now teaching voiceover, and he mentored JP and also, just an honourable mention, Steve Bloom. They are
Hmm.
now both teaching voiceover classes to potentially, as I said, the future voices of our cartoons.
Yeah.
So it's like passing down the torch. You're teaching different bits, and it's passed down for many generations. So how cool is that? How cool is it? Like you've been mentored by Bob Bergen, and now you get to mentor a group of people who potentially could be the next Tara Strong, the next Frank Welker, anything like that.
It's awesome. I mean, I I love teaching because my students inspire me in my own work. Especially in the way, like, there may be a piece of copy that I have used in class, all of my classes, and I think that I've heard every version of the same thing, and then somebody brings something new to it that I just didn't expect, and I'm like, wow. I mean, there's just so many different perspectives and different nuances that people bring to the table, and that's why I tell people, like, there's a certain sound or a certain niche that everybody thinks that they have to fill, and it's like, no, there's all sorts of different voices that are required to make up the voiceover community. I mean, it's that diversity of voices that really make animation and video games sing. So everybody has an opportunity in this space.
Exactly. How do your classes go? What's your set of classes called? I know Steve's is called Bloombox Studios. Well, do you have a special name for your class?
Nothing so clever. Well, I do. So I teach in two different spaces.
Okay.
I teach. There's this studio called Real Voice LA that's in Hollywood, but we teach on Zoom now, so it really doesn't matter where it is. And it's. I teach a class there called Creating Characters, which is basically we talk about how to identify the elements of your voice, how loud you can get, the different pitches of your voice, different timbres and stuff like that, and how you can kind of tweak and mix and match all that stuff to create different characters. So we talk about that. Then I also teach. This year. I started an organization called QueerVox, which is
Queerbox. That sounds like a really cool name.
it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a community for LGBTQ plus voice actors, whether they be aspiring or established, to have a community where we train and also just support each other and showcase.
That's lovely.
Because because there's a growing number of queer roles that are appearing in animation and video games, but often they get cast by cisgender or straight people just because there isn't an awareness of what queer talent is out there. So we're trying to bring awareness to that and to also educate, especially like non-binary and trans actors who never thought that voiceover was even an option for them, to be like, no, 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 there's opportunity. So yeah, so I also teach some stuff along with my co-teacher Sarah Elmale, who's done a ton of video games. She's really awesome.
That's really cool. I remember I
Yeah.
did look at your classes on your website and I was potentially interested, but obviously I didn't really have the funds at the time. So maybe if I have the funds around next year, this year, maybe you could see a familiar face in your class next.
Love to have you.
Hmm. It'd be great. It'd be great to have you as a mentor. You seem like a really fun person. Oh, and I like your nails, by the way.
Oh, I thank you.
They're really cool. I don't have my nails painted because I keep biting them, but yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. It's hard when it's hard when you're a nail biter for sure.
Yeah, autistic person here. Yep, I always do it. I mean, like, not just when I'm nervous, I just always just do it when,
I'm a
it's hard.
cuticle biter, less my nails, but I do bite my cuticles.
Of course. Oh, bless you.
We all have flaws.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, bless you. So, let's move on to some of your voices.
Yes.
I'm going to start with Boss Baby. Right, so you
Hmm.
took over from Alec Baldwin as the voice of the Boss Baby.
Yep.
I can't remember what his first name is. What's his actual first name? The Boss Baby's.
Oh, Theodore.
Theodore. I thought it was like Theodore or Ted or something along
Theodore
those lines.
Templeton.
Theodore Ted. Yeah. I thought it was
Hmm.
Ted for some reason, but isn't that like his older brother?
No, it's so Theodore is the like Ted is the shortened version. They call him Teddy,
Ah,
but yeah, Theodore is the
right.
long version. His older brother is Timothy Leslie Templeton, and I'm Theodore Templeton.
But I think I've heard Alec Baldwin do his voice. What does your take on the Boss Baby sound like?
So I was when I auditioned for the character, it wasn't to be the character. It was basically just to do scratch because um, if you're a celebrity and you do a big animated movie, a lot of times in the contract there's sort of like first right of refusal, whether it's video games, a TV series, toys, whatever. You get to say whether you'll do the voice or not. And so they were kind of waiting to hear if Alec wanted to do the series, and but they wanted to get started, so they were like, we're hiring somebody to basically do scratch, which is basically just to, for anybody that doesn't know, to lay down some temporary audio to help that the animators can animate to, and then later on the actual person they hired will come in and do the real voice. So I didn't think that I had the role. I thought it was like, well, it's a gig, then I'll get some money and it's fine. Um, and my version, I don't think I do a terribly good Alec Baldwin. I think I do a very good Will Arnett doing Alec Baldwin.
Hmm.
Um, like I really love Lego Batman, like that type of
Ooh.
thing. So, but it just kind of worked. Like I made everybody laugh in the room, and it clicked. And I was like 4 episodes in before they were like, "Oh, by the way, JP, Alec turned it down, so it's you." I'm like,
Wow.
"Yeah,
Well done, you. Wow, that must have been
so it was
so
cool."
big.
Yeah, luckily Alec was really busy hosting Match Game and playing Donald Trump, so I guess he just didn't have the time.
Oh, bless.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you. How long ago was that? Was that 2017? No, not
Yeah, must have. No, that
18.
sounds about right. It must have been right about there.
2017, 2018. Yeah.
Yeah,
Might be.
2017 feels like I think yeah. 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 That would be it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah. No, and it's been super cool. I mean, so far we've had 4 seasons. We've had an interactive show which was really awesome,
How
and
does that happen? How does that work?
so the interactive show, like Netflix has a bunch of these little interactive shows. They did a Puss in Boots one. There was a Black Mirror episode that was that. So, and you've just got your remote and you just make it's kind of like a choose your own adventure type thing.
Right.
But ours is so in depth, and there's puzzles and there's all sorts of
Oh.
weird things. Like it is a super cool episode. I've played through most of the different pathways, and yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm a
I
fan.
might try it out myself, actually.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
Hmm. Interesting. What other roles? Let's talk about Entropy. Entropy from Crash 4.
Yeah. So, Entropy, famously established by Corey Burton in the original trilogy,
Yeah.
and it had been. I don't remember specifically, but I feel like it had been like a decade since the last Crash game came out, or the
Hmm.
last official one. I know there was the racing one.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I just kind of got the audition, and as far as I remember, it wasn't even the Crash name wasn't on it. It was all like scratched out and written in code and all of the things. So I didn't even know what I was auditioning for really. They were just looking for a villain, but there was no mention of Corey. There was like I think all of the roles they weren't looking for sound alikes. They were just kind of looking for
Yeah.
fresh stuff. So yeah, I did it. It was awesome, and of course, after I got it, I went back and listened to Corey's work, which is amazing and brilliant. But I just put my spin on it.
Yeah. Corey
It
sounds
needs to be
like.
fun,
Yeah, Corey's take on it sounds a bit like his Captain Hook impression, to be fair. And to be
right?
fair, Corey's already in the game. He did Engine and Nitrous Oxide as well. And also
Yeah,
reminds me of that scene where it's like male entropy, female entropy. They're sort of flirting with each other, and just Nitrous Oxide in the middle, just like looking around and just. And it's just such an awkward
it's
situation.
good. It's good. Yeah, it is. It's such a well. All of the cinematics in the game are just so well done and
I
well
like the
assembled,
designs of the
and the writing
characters.
is so funny. Like, yeah, it's really well done.
Yeah. Did you record with anyone else? Did you record as an ensemble, or did you just record by yourself?
Oh God, I wish. No.
Oh
It's
no.
always. I mean, I think I've only ever recorded on one video game that was actually an ensemble. Well, ensemble in a booth. There's been a few times where I've done looping for. I did looping for The Last of Us.
Did you?
The Last of Us 2. Um, and what that looked like, it's not like we were all in a room, like, up against our up with a mic or something. We were on a motion capture volume, like the big soundstage thing. And they basically just had all of us. It was almost like old theater school stuff. Like, we were in like, okay, you're in a camp. So I want a cluster of you over here. You're maybe cooking dinner. Cluster of you over here. You're like polishing weapons and everything. And you just like, because they were capturing us physically a little bit as well. So, it was just kind of like being an extra on a set, just like walking around, having chit chat, being in character and like in this camp and pretend just all sorts of like space work and pretending. It's cool. It's really, really cool. But other than that, we never record together.
Wow.
It's always just by ourselves. Which there's so
Must be
many.
lonely.
I mean, well, the nice thing is that by and large, I really love the directors and engineers that I work with. So at least I have them to talk to, and they're really cool. But yeah, I do miss the cast. I mean, the even animation doesn't do it that much anymore. But the handful of times I've gotten to record as an ensemble, like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, we only recorded as an ensemble. It was 10 of us every week together, and it was absolute bliss. It was so funny. Um, so
Is
yeah,
it? Who's in that? I know, obviously, Carrie Walgren was
Kari
Dorothy.
Walgren. This cast is brilliant. Kari Walgren, Steve Bloom, Jess Harnell, Tom Kinney, uh, Bill Fagerbakke, uh, Grade Griffin, Lorraine Newman as the witch, and Jessica DeChico.
Oh, I love Jessica. I've been trying to reach her as well. I really want to
Oh,
interview her.
she's a doll. She's a doll.
Ah, so many people have got to reach.
Yeah, I mean, it was just great, and being able to just bounce off the other person and kind of like yes and their humor, it's a lot of fun. So
Yeah, it must have been. It
it was
must
a
have
great
been
show.
brilliant.
It was a good time.
That's lovely.
Yeah,
So back to Entropy.
sure.
Have you played Crash 4?
I haven't yet because I only have a Switch, and I just came out on Switch. So once I have a thing where like I can only have so many games on my Switch at once because otherwise I'll never get anything done. So once I beat the game that I'm currently working on, then I will move on to Crash 4. But I'm very excited about it. Like
By any
it's great.
chance, do you have Animal Crossing for the Switch?
Whoop, just got a little bug in the eye. I don't. I don't. Animal Crossing feels like the thing that would dominate my life.
It's
Um,
amazing. It's amazing. My background is literally Animal Crossing. I literally have an Isabel cut out like right here, so she's just sits in my
Yeah,
room.
yeah, yeah. No, my friends' kids have they have the Animal Crossing Special Edition. Is it Switch
Switches.
Lite?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. They were very, very
Yep, yep,
popular.
yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can get really invested in a video game, so I know when I'm like, oh, if I get that one, I'll never see the light of day again. So, yeah, but it looks fun.
It is fun. You should try it out honestly at some point. It is
Okay,
really good. Yeah.
okay,
Just advice. Also, let's move on to your role as I'm trying to think. Oh yes, Willy Wonka in Tom and
Oh,
Jerry.
yes. Willy Wonka was fun. It was really intimidating playing a role, especially because if you watch the movie, like it is a practically a frame by frame lift of the original Gene Wilder one, just with all of these added scenes of Tom and Jerry running amok in the factory, which is those parts are awesome. But so it was intimidating, playing something that Gene Wilder did so brilliantly, and also singing pure imagination and just inhabiting that
I
role.
had to sing that for a college performance. Amazing. Such a good
Yeah.
song.
Oh, it's a great song. It's stunning. So yeah, and Wes Gleason, I believe was it. Yeah, it was Wes Gleason was the director on that, and I mean, he just put me at such ease. Like it was so easy to I didn't have any nerves about it as long as I had him supporting me. But at the time, we were trying to figure out what the voice should be because when we recorded it, Gene was still alive. Um, he had passed, unfortunately, by the time it came out. But we didn't, so we didn't want to do something that was exactly him. So it's not a exact sound alike. It's more sort of like just a feel alike. Um, but yeah, I just, I kind of, so I didn't work so much on listening to Gene and trying to get his inflections or anything, but I more just watched the movie and just sort of got like,
Yeah.
the twinkle in his eye and was like, okay, I get where we're going
And
here.
you did well on the role. You really
Oh,
did.
thanks. It's such a weird little take on Tom and Jerry, especially when what's the gray mouse? Fluffy? No.
Nibbles.
Nibbles goes into as the Oompa Loompa goes into the tunnel and goes
Yeah.
into it. I mean, the original movie is trippy, but this is like really like what is happening? It's
I need to
yeah,
give that a watch again.
yeah, it's fun. It's a fun little movie.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. What has been your most favorite role from all the time you've been doing voiceover?
Ooh. Um. That is. I mean, it's
It's
tricky
like picking your
because
favorite child.
yeah, yeah, and and broadcasting it aloud. Uh, it, there's so many that I love for different reasons. I love Boss Baby for probably ironically being the most mature character. Like
Yeah.
a show aimed at little kids that there's like the dialogue is so dense and we talk about like I've had to speak in Japanese. I've had to do like, talk about
Wow.
like there's so many like big juicy words that, and so many different emotions that he
Too much
takes
for a
on.
real baby to handle.
Yeah, it's a lot. And so it's been a real meaty role to sort of sink my teeth into. I loved playing Wile E. Coyote. He's just such a
Ah,
bombastic,
yes, and Looney Tunes. The new Looney Tunes show. Was it the Looney Tunes show? Yeah.
Yeah, it was originally called Wabbit, and then they changed the name like as 2 seasons into the new Looney Tunes. So,
Did you
um,
meet June Foray?
I met her once,
Oh,
very
lucky.
briefly. Yeah, it was just at an event, like just sort of in passing. I don't even know if I think I might have just brushed by her and not really. I don't think we had like a like,
Never
hello,
met
my name
her,
is, or
sadly.
anything like that. Oh, but she was wonderful. Yeah, she was just a titan.
Bless. Bless her
Yeah,
heart.
um, yeah.
I completely forgot. Oh yes, I've just remembered. You know how I asked you about recording in an ensemble for Crash, and you said you
Oh yeah.
didn't. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, at least you got to see Corey on Mark Ivanier's Cartoon Voices panel because you did that with
I
him
did.
1 year ago this August actually.
Oh, that was
You did
super
it with
super fun.
Corey, you did it with John Bailey, epic voice work guy, and
Mm-hmm.
Kimberly Brooks.
Yeah, and everybody. I had met everybody on the panel before except Corey. Corey and I had never met up until then.
You've done the same game.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Bakari's an old friend. Kimberly is awesome. I just adore her. And John is amazing. John is like a
And
ferocious
she's
talent.
Luna. She's Luna in the Hex Girls as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Kimberly's done a ton of stuff,
Yeah.
and John Bailey, who is like, you know, the god of impressions. He's amazing.
I'm trying to organise an interview with him, but I think it'll probably be later this month ish.
Yeah,
We'll have to
yeah.
see.
Absolutely, talk to him.
Yes, JP. Can I just say, I keep looking at your hair and it's just beautiful. What hair?
Thanks.
What color are you planning on next?
I don't know. Like I was doing blonde and gray and like just all blue for a while, and then I settled into pink and blue, and I'm kind of just good with it. I really like it.
You
If
rock
anything,
it.
I might throw in some platinum in there, but
Ah,
this is kind
yes.
this is kind of my color palette. I'm a jewel tone, you
I
know.
love it. You rock it.
Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Um, So, anyways, can I just say, like, I'm just starstruck. Like, sometimes I get these moments where I just stare and I'm just like, wow, this is absolutely amazing.
You're too kind. You're
Hmm.
too kind. You
Thank
you have
you.
met far more exciting people than myself, but I appreciate it.
You've met June Foray. I haven't.
Well, that's one that
Even if it was briefly. Even if it
yeah,
was
yeah,
briefly.
probably I think it was at an event or something, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of those
Yeah.
um there's so many. I mean there's just um I mean, like even working with Jess Harnell, like I grew up watching the Animaniacs. I was a huge Animaniacs fan, and just being like, "Oh my god, it's him!" Or Rob Paulson, or Tress MacNeille. Like
Love
just
stress.
yeah, or
Yeah.
Maurice LaMarche, who I worked with on Looney Tunes. He's They're amazing, and just to be like, "Oh my god, I grew up watching you!" Ah, yeah.
Fanboying.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a ton of fanboying going on.
Oh yeah, I bet there is. Here's another good question. Do you make regular convention appearances? Do you do
I
conventions?
so before everything went to I started doing some conventions. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to be in Hawaii last year at this time doing a
Wow.
convention appearance, but sadly that didn't happen. It will happen, but probably next year.
Yeah.
Um
Have you ever been to England before?
I have. I've
Have
been
you?
I've been to London twice.
Wow.
Uh Yeah, first time was just a vacation with a friend. We only were in London. Then the second time, I took my mom,
Oh,
and we went to London. But then we also went to some outskirts. That we went to Blenheim Palace. We went to the Cotswolds. Like it was cute. It was really really
nice
cute.
one.
Hmm.
Yeah, next time you're in England, you have to come and see me in Liverpool, near Liverpool.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to see. I really do want to see more of the country. I also want to see Ireland and Scotland and all that kind of stuff.
Scotland's beautiful. I'm seeing Frank there this October, along with Peter
Nice.
Cullen. So, yes, definitely looking forward to that if protocols allow and the country does not go into shutdown again.
Yeah, I hope not. Yeah,
I
I
hope so
think I
too.
think we're on the right track. But
Yeah, with with all the vaccines rolling out, yeah, and
hmm.
it's actually quite good because today is a big day for England because today is the first time that zero deaths
Oh, that's
within
huge.
28 days of receiving a positive test.
That's great.
First time have been reported. So
Awesome. That's great to
that's a
hear.
step forward for us. Thank you.
Hmm. For sure.
Yeah. Oh man, it feels so
Yeah,
good.
because you guys, I mean, like, I saw your vaccine numbers, and it's good. It's everybody's everybody's getting their shot. But the unfortunate thing is, I think, like the U.S. and the U.K. are two of the only countries that are really like, on um, getting the vaccines they need right now. So that's hard.
I haven't
Um,
been offered it. I haven't yet. I haven't been
yet.
offered it yet. I know my parents have had it. My grandma's had it. My sister's had it, and
Hmm.
yeah, there's just me. I just
Yeah,
want to get. I just want to get back to conventions already.
yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the virtual conventions are interesting and can be fun, especially when you get to do a panel with people that don't even live in the same state and wouldn't ordinarily be together.
Oh yeah,
So that's neat. But other than that, like, there's nothing like seeing people in person, and there's that energy
it's the
that
greatest feeling ever.
yeah, for
I've
sure.
only met two voice actors, and that's Tara Strong and Frank. That's
Well, Tara's not is certainly not too shabby.
that was great.
She's amazing. She is so much fun. Yeah,
Hmm.
I do enjoy her.
Have you met Tara and Frank?
I met Tara.
Uh-huh.
Like Tara, I know we've worked together. We did Secret Life of Pets 2 together, which
I
was
was just about to say we
hmm
were watching Secret Life of Pets on holiday in our lodge with my nephew, and I saw Tara in the additional voice. I think she does the voice of Sweet Pea, the little bird.
yes, yes.
I didn't know that was her. I didn't know she
Hmm.
was. I didn't know she was just like Frank, just doing animal noises. And yes,
Yeah,
I was like, I wonder who does the additional voices in in the sequel. And then I saw your name. I was like, wow, who
yeah.
were you in the second film?
I was the neurotic dog in the vet.
Ah, I actually
The
haven't seen the second film, but I will try and look
Oh, it's
out for you
really
if I see
cute.
it.
It's a it's It's
I think
so
Patton
funny.
Oswalt's in the main role in the second film. Yeah.
Yes,
I
yeah,
can't remember
and
what
he's
the main dog's called. I can't. What is it?
oh, I can't either. But
Max.
yeah,
Max.
Max, yeah, but it's really cute, and the Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish and everybody is so funny. But yeah, that was because it was additional voices. That was one of the cases where we got to record together.
Oh,
Um,
lovely.
yeah, and it was just such a cool little group. We were just making each other
Who
laugh.
else
And
was there?
Brian. Why don't I remember your last name, Brian? Who are the other people? Tara. I think Lorraine was in that one.
Ah, yes, Lorraine Newman.
I think she was. The funny thing is like a lot of the looping sessions occur at the same studio in the same room. So sometimes like I'm like, well,
Too many
wait a minute,
people.
because I when I pictured in my mind, I'm like, well, I remember that studio, but that could have been any movie, who knows. Um, but yeah, oh, was that? I don't remember. I don't
That's
remember.
completely fine.
Brian Donnelly. Yes.
Ah, I see.
Yes, who was also in he was the male player in Fallout 4.
Oh, was he?
Yes.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah.
So, have you met Frank as well?
Once. At an event or no. I think it was like at one of the studios, like in the lobby or something. But it was like a quick, like,
Hello,
JP, have you
goodbye.
met Frank? Or, hey, how you doing? Poof, that was it. But
Did you
I
have
mean,
coloured hair? Because I think it's really cool when people meet voice actors and then they have coloured hair. Like they always compliment that. I think I've had a lot of people, voice actors, compliment my blue hair and my bleached
mhm.
parts. So it is quite cool.
Well, I may have had my colored hair. I don't think Frank did though. I think Frank had my colored hair.
My friend thought he was blonde. I was like, nope. Yeah, bless him. Yeah, he's like up there. Everyone respects him, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, but that's part of it. Like Frank is one of those people. Like a lot, a lot of the folks that we really look up to that do a lot of voiceover that are a wonderful meeting of immense talent and also just being really considerate and generous and lovely humans. And that's because it really doesn't matter how talented you are. If you're nasty, nobody wants to work with you. So yeah,
Uh,
Frank is notorious for being lovely.
yeah, everyone says he's the nicest voice actor ever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're lucky in this biz. We got a lot of great people.
I'm jealous. The UK voiceover business isn't very big, to be fair.
Sure. Yeah.
I think I'm have to move over to LA when I'm a bit older and just join you all.
I mean, it's warm.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've heard LA is just beautiful. I really want to
Yeah.
move there. It must be like it's like the golden place for Hollywood and acting and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as our industry goes, like I do have friends who live in Texas who do a lot of anime because that's one of the hub. Austin is one of the hubs of that. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to animation, I mean, it's kind of LA or bust.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose London's the equal thing to LA. That's just a personal guess.
I mean, London is certainly an entertainment
Bustling business
capital.
of show. But why did I say business? The bustling city of showbiz. There we go.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I
yeah.
got confused because I said biz and then business and.
I got you. I understand.
Of course you do. Of course you do. We voice actors always understand each other because I've had a voice actor. I'm not sure if you've seen my pitch. Did I send you my pitch sheet when I first contacted you?
I don't know if you did. I don't think so.
Well, you can't see up here, but there's a picture of me and it's with like a little helicopter machine. You can't really see it, but you can just see just
Uh
here.
huh.
That is a coin-operated children's ride. You put the money in, it moves. I
Oh
prov-
right, yeah.
I provided the voice for that.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, that's my only voice acting role to date, but slowly getting there. Slowly getting there.
Yeah, but that's cool because that's one that that just comes out of nowhere. Like
Oh
that
yeah.
could somebody could just see one of those things outside of the grocery store and be like, It's there. It is. That's her. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a completely by surprise because I knew the people who ran it because the company's
Hmm.
obviously now gone bust because of COVID. But they knew me, they knew our family, and they were like, "Oh yeah, do you want to audition?" I was like, "Sure," and I auditioned and got the role. So yeah.
Bingo. What's the best thing you say during it? Like, what's your favorite? Like, is there a catchphrase or something?
I think one of them has to be rotor power. The only reason because when the guy who was voice directing me, he was like, "Oh yeah, could you say rotor power but make it sort of like Scrappy Doo says puppy power?" And I was like, so I had to watch a thing of Scrappy Doo. It was Don Messick saying puppy power, and then
Hmm.
I found out when he auditioned for it, Frank Welker came up with his catchphrase puppy power.
There you go. Full circle.
Full circle indeed. So I've got
Hmm.
to thank Frank and Don. Got me my role. Oh man. Mm.
There's so many instances where we play. I mean, in a loving and good natured way, we always steal from each other.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a character that Kari, and it was a bit part. It was just like a little ancillary character because there was only 10 of us in Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. We did the main voices, but then we did all of the little characters as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a rabbit that Kari did, and the rabbit sounded like this, and I'm a rabbit, and it was just the craziest voice. So I was like, I'm that consider that stolen, honey. I am taking that voice. Because obviously when I do it, it sounds completely different from the way Kari does it. But I mean, it's just such a good voice print. So I think we do that all the time of just putting our own spin on those things that other people have done. It's fun.
Yeah, it is great and it's definite inspiration from other
Mm-hmm.
people. What has been like who's been I'd ask who was your favourite actor to work with, but I suppose that's like picking your favourite child. So what I'm gonna say instead is, unless you want to answer it, who's been the most famous person you've worked with?
Famous. Trying to think who's been the most famous that I've actually been in the booth with because
That's a
I've
long
worked with a
one.
bunch of people that like my very first
There we
animated
go.
role
Mm-hmm.
was it was this direct to DVD movie tie-in to the video game. That's a lot of relevant to Dante's Inferno, which came out like 15 years ago.
Wow.
Um, and it was this bloody massacre thing. But one of the villains is played by Mark Hamill, and I played like this assassin or something like that who murders Mark Hamill. Now we never were in the same room, but I can say that I shared a scene with him. I just you know.
Yeah.
But as far as people that I've worked with, I mean, the one that comes to mind off the top of my head is even though I don't know if he's necessarily the most famous, is Tony Hale.
Tony
Um,
Hale. Forky in Toy Story 4.
yeah, Forky,
Love
Arrested
Forky.
Development, and Veep, and now he's doing Archibald's Next Big Thing, which is such an adorable show. It is so very
Oh, I think I've
cute.
heard of that. I think he's doing the new Rugrats reboot as well, so that's
Oh,
cool.
probably. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, but he did a guest spot on Boss Baby, on one of the few occasions where we were able to record together, and he
Mm-hmm.
couldn't have been lovelier. And then I did a guest spot on Archibald's Next Big Thing, and he was in the
Oh,
room and directed, and well, as the showrunner, like gave notes. Um, and yeah, also just lovely guy. It was super fun.
that's so cool. Oh, that was some fun. So, what's been the funniest story from recording? Funniest memory you've ever had recording anything? Or it could be
Oh,
from your classes.
there've been so many funny things. I'm trying to think of something. I really should have like one ready to go for this.
Yeah,
But
you just with these interviews, you just put on
I'll
the spot
remember
with
this.
one
I'll
question.
remember. I'll remember to have the one ready to go. Um. Hmm. 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 Well, some of them are filthy, so I can't sell those. Um,
This
no,
video is NSFW.
uh, yeah. Uh,
If you
yeah, I
can't
mean,
answer them, that's fine.
the memories that come to mind, like the funny thing is like a lot of the memories that I have are the more sentimental ones. So, I don't know. Maybe it's because I haven't been around people as much over the past year that I'm more just like I more think of like the sweet times, the nice times,
Yeah.
like I think of so when we would record Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, and usually we would do it was a 4 hour session. And so usually we would do one episode, which might take like the first 2 hours, and then the second 2 hours where we would do ADR and pickups of previous episodes, to put the final polish on them. But all of us would sit around and wait, our turn to get to work. And sometimes that meant like you'd be waiting maybe an hour or so to, until they got around to something you were doing. So there was a couch that was in the booth. We'd be sitting around reading, doing work, taking a nap, and like we have so many pictures of us just kind of like, reading, napping, just like sort of almost like we were in Big Brother or something, like just being in each other's face.
Yeah.
And they're just really cute family time. Or when we used to record Boss Baby, I know these are fascinating stories. So my big brother Tim is played by Pierce Gagnon, who is a third my age. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's about 13, 12, 12, 13.
I think he's a little older now. I feel like he's like 16 now. Maybe not. Maybe he's younger.
Yeah, I think
Anyway,
yeah, 14, 15, I'm just presuming.
yeah. But he was a young kid when we started. Like he
Hmm.
was significantly shorter than me. He's not anymore.
Yeah.
But like I'm not great with. I play a baby, but I'm not great with kids. I don't
Yeah.
think so. I was just trying to like relate to it and everything, and so in between takes, we would just chat, get to know each other. And he was doing parkour, and so we would talk about that, and we would play like games and stuff in between takes. It was so that by the time that we got to that last episode, like which spoiler alert, it's out, so I could say this. But when we got to the last episode where Boss Baby is kind of saying goodbye, like it was really emotional, and most of it had to do with my connection to Pierce because
Oh.
we had gotten to know each other and had that sort of like a brotherly I mean, a significantly older brother, but like, that sort of brotherly relationship. And so that was hard. It was, yeah, those connections are just really, I know they're not funny,
It's lovely. Just lovely
but
memories to share.
yeah, those are the things that I hang on to.
It must be great just to be a voice actor growing up in Hollywood, especially when you're a kid. Like, everyone dreams of it. Everyone wants to be a voice actor. They want to be up there. And I do as well. It must be just be the greatest job in the whole world.
It ain't bad. It ain't bad. It ain't easy, but it ain't bad. Well, a lot of people are like, it's so simple. And it's like, okay, the part where from like, you get booked and doing the job, I mean, yeah, it's not rocket science. Like, it's fun. You get to go and do whatever. It's all of the getting the job part. Like, that's the hard stuff. That's the tricky stuff. And, you know, um, yeah. And some people really, really struggle with it. I was really fortunate. And a lot of it just had to do with being in the right place at the right time, knowing the right people. Like, it was, um, but yeah, it's a tricky business.
Mm, yeah, and I think one way to wrap up a good interview is by doing some of your voices. So, is there any
Sure.
voices you just love showcasing and interviews?
Well, there's always Boss Baby. I mean, he's important that he needs to be mentioned, especially as an executive of one of the world's most notable and completely unknown companies, Baby Corp. So there's him. Then, of course, there's Wile E. Coyote, super genius. So happy to be here on your show, Amber, for you clearly are a genius like myself.
Oh, thank you.
And then there's your favorite, N Tropy.
N Tropy!
Traveling throughout all of the interdimensional spaces to be here. And then there's the Tin Man, of course. It's just a lovely and light fellow who's just so pleased to be around. And then,
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka's just me. It's basically just my voice, like, hello, everybody, I'm Willy Wonka. You know, like, it's just me doing me. But so the one voice that this is deep cut. There was a voice that I did for the show Home, The Adventures of Tip and O, based on the DreamWorks movie Home with Rihanna and Jim Parsons. And I got to play a character known as the Boopy, who's almost like kind of like the rabbi of the Boov people. Like he's like the main character is going through a coming of age ceremony, so they called the Boopy to come and help.
Yeah.
And the Boopy sounds like this. And I'm just so pleased to be here to help you with your transition. Yeah. Those are the fun things.
Oh, JP, you made me smile so much tonight. It's been wonderful talking.
Well, I'm so glad I could be here, Amber. I'm glad we did it.
We did it!
Yay! And it's still recording.
It is still recording. It is indeed. Oh, that's lifted a huge weight off my head. That has.
Awesome. Yeah, the curse is broken. Even though it was only maybe a 3-hour curse, it's fine.
Yeah. Is there anything you're currently working on, or can you not say due to? Is it NDRs? Well, is that what
NDAs.
NDAs, that's it.
Non-disclosure agreements. So the thing that just came out is Eden. It's a 4-part anime that's on Netflix. It's gorgeous. The cast includes Rosario Dawson and Neil Patrick Harris and Julie Nathanson and David Tennant, and Kari Wahlgren is in it as well.
Kari, of course.
And it's a gorgeous show. It's 4 episodes. It's just a sweet little self-contained miniseries. But it's just so good, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. So that's one that I can mention. Yeah, that's. Oh, and I'm on Trollstopia.
Oh yes, I recall reading about your role on Trollstopia.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Who'd you play?
Dante Crescendo. Oh, so lovely to be here. Yeah, he's a good time. Yeah, so that's the big stuff. And then, of course, I'm still doing a whole bunch of stuff with QueerVox, and we have a lot of new stuff coming down the pike. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. Aw. JP.
Amber, thank you for having me. This was super, super fun.
You're welcome. JP, you've been amazing. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Anyways, at home, to you people at home, thank you so much for watching another episode. JP, where can we find you online? Anything you want to promote?
jpkarliak.com or at JP Karliak on your favorite social media network thing.
And I'll also include a link to QueerVox in the description. And what was the other class called? Was it Creative?
At Real Voice LA.
Real Voice LA. I'll put that in the description as well.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you at home for watching, and I will see you in another episode. So yeah, from me and JP, the rhyme, did you see that? Goodbye. Bye, and cut.